and he owns the Wine Rock, which is located on Frankfort Avenue. Now, we encourage everyone to go there in person because you get the expertise of John Johnson, but I have it today in studio. John, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too, John.
I always love this show.
I have been called a dog before.
No, that probably wasn't a good comparison. But what I will say is this. Every year I look forward to having you on the show because when it comes to champagne, sparkling wines, you know value, you know taste, you know the good wineries. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Tonight's the night. Talk about some of your favorites. And I think it's important to note, you can go to some of those large box stores, but they don't have someone who is really looking out for you in terms of value, in terms of reputation, in terms of taste. You hand select all of those.
Yes, absolutely. I taste everything before I bring it in, and we want people to be happy. You know, I mean, that's the goal. It's like the goal is not to upsell people into a price point that they're not comfortable with. We really want to over-deliver on the quality for the price, and we want to match people with what their taste, with what will work for them. So I brought some sparkling wines tonight, or today, of course, some true champagne, some not. And it's going to run through the true champagnes first and then get to the other ones. But, yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's do it. Okay, let's talk, folks. Okay, this obviously, a lot of it is it the packaging, or could you care less about what it looks like?
No, I care about the packaging because it's like there's so much good wine out there. And so if you have a great wine that's, say, priced $20 that has a terrible label on it or just really boring or looks dated, and you have a same quality level wine, same price point that has a sharp label, obviously people, when you hand sell like we do every day, all day, you can tell. You know, you're like, you can recommend a wine, right. And if it doesn't look great, people are hesitant. But if it looks sharp, boom.
Yeah, and they want to impress their friends.
And so you want the wine to do well. It is if it's good juice, and so the packaging we do pay attention to, but it's really most importantly it's what's obviously inside the bottle that matters the most.
All right, so these are some that you have handpicked. The good juice. This is a good juice.
Man, these are some of my favorites, and at 3 very distinct price points too. So it's a year a lot of people. You know, it's a weird year, but people want to celebrate and they're ready to turn the page. And not everybody can get into Volare tonight. Obviously, they're booked. And so if you're at home and you're toasting, people want something nice to ring in the new year. And so champagne sales have been true champagne have been really strong.
Love hearing that.
The first one is one of my all-time favorites. I've carried this wine. It's Jean Vassel, who's the producer. I've carried it for at least 15 years. This one's called the Huit de Padrie. It means eye of the partridge, and it's called that because the wine has a really subtle little kind of amber, soft pink hue to it. It's made from 100% Pinot Noir, so it's not a rosé. They do what's called a clean press. So they crush the grapes, they separate the juice immediately from the skins, but it's still, because it's made from 100% Pinot Noir, which is red wine grape, it still extracts just a little bit of that pink hue from those grape skins. But it's absolutely beautiful wine, a lot of berry fruit to it, kind of a creaminess to it, creamy mouthfeel.
All right.
And that's $49.99, and I love it.
Highly recommend.
Highly recommend. I've got a value option, which we always try to have one true champagne that's under $30, which is not always easy to do. This year it was because we were able to get a deal on this little guy, which is Champagne Paul Laurent, and we have that for $29.99. This brand is actually there's a brand in the United States from New Mexico called Gruet. And the Gruet family is from Champagne. Interesting story. They moved to the U.S. They started Gruet in the 70s. In the 90s, he sold it, moved back to Champagne, and started a new label called Paul Laurent. And it's really nice. It's made predominantly from Pinot Noir and Pinot Meunier, a little bit of Chardonnay. Spends about 2 years on the lees, so after the secondary fermentation. And you can't usually get champagne in that quality level for under $30.
Man, you're good. So. Man, you are the top.
I just love wine.
The Tom Brady of wines. Okay. Now this is a nice looking box. Looks very impressive. Yeah. I'm assuming expensive.
It ought to look impressive. It should. It comes with a hefty price tag. It's $129.99, and this is Champagne Gosset. Gosset is the oldest champagne house in the district of Champagne. Dates back to the 1500s. I think it's 1584. And this is a new one from them, and I just tasted this a few months ago in kind of a pre-sale thing, and I knew it was expensive. I knew it would be a push because nobody knows this name in this market, but it was just so unbelievably, mind-blowingly good. I had to bring it in, and they call it the 12 Ans de Cave. So what that means is that's 12 years that the wine was aging what they call entourage. So after sparkling wine goes through secondary fermentation in the bottle, that's where the bubbles come from. So most champagnes are in there for maybe 2, maybe 3 years before they're disgorged. This one spends 12 years in the cellar, and so it just has so much incredible complexity.
So if you want to impress someone.
Yeah, if you want to blow somebody away with an incredible champagne and that's also different and has an interesting story, the Gosset, that 12 Ans de Cave is worth it.
All right, we've got about 40 seconds here. I'm going to let you pick 2 of your favorites and watch this man work. He is excellent. Here we go.
All right, here we go. Well, we have to throw in Calvé, because Calvé is comes from one of our favorite importers called Aquitaine, Bordeaux importer. And Jean-Marie Calvé started the Calvé Wine Company in 1818 in Bordeaux. This is a brand that was actually in the United States in the late 1800s, but they focused mainly on Europe and Argentina and Asia. And so by the 1990, it was in the 90s, it was gone, disappeared. It was reintroduced to the market by Jean-Christophe Calvé, 6th-generation vintner, and his son Jean-Sébastien Calvé, that we've had at our store a couple times. And it's really interesting. So this is sparkling wine from France, but from a different region than Champagne. This is from Bordeaux. It's made 90% Cab Franc, 10% Merlot. It's $16.99. Drinks like a rosé champagne. And then lastly, gotta throw in one for the Italians.
There you
we love the Italians. We can't do sparkling wine and not say one nice thing about Prosecco. And this is from Tomasi, which is a classic producer based in the Veneto region.
Prosecco's hot.
Prosecco is on fire, and so they produce mainly different forms of Valpolicella red wines, but they produce an outstanding Prosecco. Now this one, it's called Filadora. And it's $14.99. So, if you want to have a nice sparkling wine tonight, New Year's Eve, or whenever, it's not going to break the bank. And it's just head and shoulders above, I think, most Proseccos that you typically pay in that price range. You're seeing that price range.
John, is that the correct website there?
WineShopLouisville.com.
Okay, I wanted to make sure because I was thinking Wine Rack.
It's Wine Rack's the name, but WineShopLouisville.com.
WineShopLouisville.com. But hey, I recommend to go in and see him because he offers his expertise, and that's absolutely free, and that's worth $1 billion. You know so much. I wish we had more time to chat.
Sure.
You are fantastic, John
Pleasure
Johnson.
being here.
Always a pleasure. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you too, John.
All righty, coming up here. There we go. There's our sponsors today. We appreciate that. There's the information of the Wine Rack. There's all the info there. And dude, pay them a visit today. If not today, hey, the New Year's going to be a good one. Celebrate.